Everyone. So, in today's session, we'll be talking about uh, staking opportunities, how anyone can participate in Ethereum staking without really requiring the 32 ETH. So, it's basically how different protocols such as Rocket Pool and Lido. There are a couple of others, but so we'll be talking about these two majorly. So, and the idea is that these protocols or these um, communities or group or entities, they tend to build or create this innovative approach that helps to onboard more people into the Ethereum ecosystem by reducing the amount of ETH that you require to stake as a solo staker. So they tend to reduce the barrier to entry, and that the major barrier is basically the 32 ETH requirement. So communities and protocols like Lido that have that has uh, innovations or systems like CSM, that's the Lido CSM. So this tends to reduce the bond requirement or the amount of ETH you need to participate. So we are going to explore Lido and Rocket Pool and also talk about some uh, other communities, other protocols or entities, that has been contributing to the decentralization and reducing barrier to entry. So without further ado, Lido CSM basically is more like a community staking module. So it tends to make staking more accessible and decentralized for anyone. And And we've talked about Ethereum and staking and consensus mechanism, role of validators. So just a quick reminder. Um, so the proof of stake consensus mechanism is not energy intensive as the proof of work model. So you need to stake your ETH to secure the network, and traditionally you need 32 ETH to participate as a validator, so you can perform some validators duties validator duties such as processing transactions amongst others. So um, so Lido CSM is a solution that tends to make these things easy, and it allows independent node operators, that's you running a node, anyone running a node, or basically community stakers, to participate. If you have like a community of people that stake, that have interest in staking or are currently doing it. So this solution is for you people, and it basically helps you to participate in the Ethereum's proof of stake mechanism with very low entry barriers. So the idea is that um, so it operates within the a broader Lido protocol, and basically it provides liquid staking through STETH, like stake it. So this is more like a token, um, a token that represents the ETH that you're staking. So STETH is more like, so if you have Ethereum now, you want to you stake Ethereum. If you stake Ethereum, they will now give you like a token that is like that your Ethereum that you use. But however, this token is something you can use to participate in other staking or other DeFi activities. Like you can use it as collateral, you can use it to participate in other lending and borrowing um, activities within DeFi ecosystem. So it's just like you pay for something and they are giving you a ticket or an emblem. So that's what the STETH is. So it basically represents your stake token. So and the approach they used at first, it was not permission. It was not completely permissionless. So because that was around the testing phase where they were trying to like get more people to use the solution. So before it then transition, they now transition into being fully permissionless. So the approach they used was to get early adopters. So those people that were running their Ethereum nodes. So you just have them to participate in the Lido CSM, and after that, then they now had to like verify the activities, get the address, and those people that participated in the testing phase were now considered early adopters. So and those people were more like the people that has the first control to the first access into Lido CSM. So, but right now it is completely permissionless, so anybody can participate. So with and this transition was basically approved through an on-chain vote. So just like a lot of things around the Web3 ecosystem has to like go through some DAO process where people have to vote on certain proposals, and um, once everyone majority uh, wins, or once the majority insists that yeah, it should go permissionless for everyone, then that's now the case, and that's actually what happened. So like before it became completely permissionless, it had to like go through some on-chain voting, some proposals, right? So this also shows the community driven approach, nature or idea of Lido. So it is also community driven. So these are like some of the things that are interesting about Lido. And talking about the key features, you need uh, at least 2.4 ETH. At first, for the early adopters, they had like the opportunity to participate with just 1.5 ETH. So but depending on the bond curve, so there are like some things around this though. But basically, you need at least 2 points. You need 2.4 ETH to participate, and this is relatively low compared to the 32 ETH requirements that you need to participate. And in terms of the capacity, the module capacity has increased to about 2% of the total Lido protocol, and this also enables greater participation from independent stakers, thereby enhancing the network decentralization. So the capacity has increased compared to how it was before. And although there was this limit of 12 validators per node, and this is no longer there. So in terms of scalability, it's unlimited. So they are now allowing operators to scale their participation and contribute more extensively to the network security. And in terms of community support, so there are lots of communities out there to help. There's NodeBridge, there is Lifeguard, Staking Tribes, and others, that tends to like help bridge knowledge gap. for those that are new into Ethereum staking. So basically, in terms of the key features, yeah. So now, what do you stand to gain? What are like the benefits? So you still earn reward because you're staking. So you tend to like um, you be rewarded. And yeah, in terms of the network, you're also contributing to the network, and you're also gaining valuable experience around blockchain and its infrastructure, and the low bond. So with just 2.4, if you can participate. So, and there's been a lot of achievements so far since CSM was launched. So the number of validators has increased, as well as the
Can
number
I
of validators, right?
can I ask a question?
Okay, sure.
Alright, so I think in the last slide you mentioned the amount we can stake, right? So that's 2.4. The reward we get for it, I don't think it was highlighted. How does it work?
Okay, so for Lido, when you stake for there is, I'm not sure. Let me check. I think I should have the reward on this slide. Let's see. Okay, I guess I don't have it here. So, but when you stake, there's how like the reward is distributed. So the idea is, I think there's the certain amount you'll be getting per year. But basically you're using ETH to stake, and you have like the SDE. And let me, I think I missed that part, but let me just, this is this is not what I'm looking for. Okay, Richard, I'm going to get it. I think there's a place I saw it, but I can't really recall um where it is. But basically, how how the how it works is, when you stake, you have like a token that represents what you stake, and then that would also like, you'll be earning reward in that in that token. So, but the percentage, like what you stand to gain, is, there's how they do the calculation. And I think like there's how it's been splitted. 4% goes to, I think like 10% out of that money is being splitted. Four goes somewhere, six goes somewhere, and the rest. But yeah, more. I'm not sure. I don't have it on this slide, but just so I give you like the correct information you need.
My reason for asking is because at the same time, right, if you want to do this, it's important you know what it costs, right? Like, okay, if I'm going to like invest in this thing, then I know that okay, this is what I'm getting and all of that. So I don't know if you get me.
Yeah, I understand. I really understand what you're saying, because you're speaking like from an investor's mindset, because you're putting in money into these things, and you're expecting certain rewards. So yeah, I get. But a lot of times, I think it also depends on the amount of validators you're also running. So if, let's say, you're running, so I think you need like 2.48, and then if you're now adding more validators, so there's also something called the bond curve, So the more validators you're staking, the lesser, it's more like the amount of ETH you then require um, will now be lesser. So, but basically, yeah, that's just how it works, and it basically depends on the the number of validators that you're running on the network. So, in terms of the technical integration, so you can you can use so you can also use it piler. So you can do like the normal standard setup where you have like your Ethereum client, your consensus client, execution client, and then you now but for the valid that the where the difference now comes in is for the validators client. So it has like its own configuration, how you can set it up. So and you can also do that through Obol DVT as well as its piler. So and you can also like combine with combine with existing infrastructure is if like you have your own setup, so you can add the Lido CSM into your existing setup. So this allows anyone, node operators, basically to choose like the configuration that best suits their need. So during our practical section, and we'll also be showing us how we can use some of these tools to participate in last to use Lido CSM through some of these tools, these setups basically. So that's so to now get started, you then have your bond 2.48 ready. Um, then you have like your infrastructure, your clients properly configured. So more information on this from the documentation. So then you now join through the interface. So there's like an interface where you then do all the configuration, and then before you now start participating once your validator becomes active. So that's basically how the Lido CSM works. So we're also going to look into Rocket Pool. Then lastly, Obol. So for okay, so Rocket Pool, you can actually like just take directly like to other validators or other stakers, I would say, or you run your own node, like have your own setup and stake. So you can like stake to run a node and stake on here. So basically, so for Rocket Pool it's a liquid staking protocol, and it is built specifically for Ethereum that maintains the network decentralization through independent node operators, and it also has the its own token. So when you stake ETH, you receive RE tokens, so that can be traded. So you can use it for DeFi. You can use it as collateral or deploy in DeFi while earning staking rewards. And there is so the interface is also friendly, and in terms of decentralization, it is decentralized, it is permissionless, and it is a trustless system. So making it one of the secure and accessible options for you to participate in staking. So You also need to like deposit. So there is a minimum of 0.01 ETH for liquid staker or 16 ETH for node operators. Then you receive your token, just like Lido, somewhat similar. Then you now like start validating. Like, so it is distributed to the node operators, while to the node operators who run validators to secure the network, and then you earn reward. So most of these protocols follows the same process, but the key differences rest on their features, what you stand to gain, and also how they are addressing these issues. So in terms of decentralization, Rocket Pool is decentralized and it is also a trustless system, secure. However, it depends on smart contracts, to handle some of um, these processes or these transactions. So you tend to like, so these are like, there are like smart contracts that are deployed to handle most of these things. And yeah, basically, so but we all know that smart contract too, there are also some risk that comes with it, but more into that eventually. And of course, you require very low amount to like participate. So you can stick with as little as 0.01 if you're not running a node. So, and this is relatively low compared to 32 ETH. So yeah, unlike the 16 ETH that is required for if you also want to like participate. Then so in terms of like the lockup period, you can actually unstake. You can actually withdraw your funds at any time. So it's very flexible, and easy to part, to participate. So sorry, my I don't know, for some reason it will just not scroll. Okay. So like, how can you, like, what are the processes the for the liquid staking with RETH? Okay, the first thing is you deposit as little as 0.01 ETH into the Rocket Pool protocol through their interface. Then you receive a token which represents your stake ETH and also feature rewards. Then you have the opportunity or the option to use it to participate in other activities around DeFi, and you can stake at any time. So, but node operation with Rocket Pool. So it's in terms of reward, your commission, you earn commission, and you also earn the Rocket Pool tokens. Um, so you're also running a validator, meaning you're participating in network validations and others, and you just need 16 ETH to do this through this approach. So how is this different from the traditional approach? So the requirement is very low. It is decentralized, and there's in terms of liquidity, there's also um, the token you have, which has liquidity as well. So the token has because you're any reward in form of that token as well. So like, it's also increasing. So, and it has liquidity basically, and that's why you can use it in for other DeFi activities. And it requires very little or no technical knowledge to participate. So the benefits is that one, it is fully decentralized, low ETH requirements, and you can withdraw your funds at any time. So some of the risk that comes with it is So for some of the processes that are that are automated through smart contracts, so there's this tendency that it could so there's this it is possible that it could suffer some risk or vulnerabilities. So and people or hackers can exploit these vulnerabilities. So these are some of the things that comes when you're staking through a third party. And so for if you're now a node operator, you also face risk of being slashed if your validator misbehave or experience downtime. And in terms of volatility, that's also there. So there's also fluctuation. So let's talk about Obol. But if you have questions, you can ask. So Obol Labs is more like the the lab or the engineer, or they are just like the entity behind DVT, Obol DVT. So Obol Collective, I think they are the ones that handles things around staking, validator. So they create a dynamic ecosystem for operators, validators, and the broader staking communities to help more people engage in Ethereum staking in a decentralized and secure ways. And there are lots of opportunities around the community. For instance, there's the technical credential program where you earn certain batches, like the base, bronze, and the silk. So they are like they have the base, bronze, and silver tie or batches around this. And the idea behind the technical credential is that you just want to, if you're running a node, you just want to prove that you have an experience. So it's basically you participating in staking through their initiative or their solutions, and them attesting you online. So when you participate, the attestation is actually on chain. So you earn the badge, the verifiable non-transferable NFT marking, which represent or which shows that you're proficient in running distributed validator. So it's basically an on-chain attestation, more like a badge or verification that shows that you know how to run DVT. And there are different types to it. There's the base, the bronze, and the silver. So all of these they have like certain requirements around that. So so in terms of opportunity, there are lots of things you stand to gain. So if you have like the base or you have bronze or silver badge, there are some opportunities around Lido and other staking protocols that will be made available for you. So I think when they were even looking for, I think some of the early adapters for the Lido CSM, some of them were also Obol, people from Obol, people who have certain credentials or certain ties within the Obol ecosystem. So if you have either base, bronze, or silver tie or technical credential, you have certain opportunities within other protocols like Lido. So basically, these are like some of the things you stand to gain. And there's also the staking master program where, so basically this is like a cohort based program. So if you're a builder, you're a researcher, or you have a community where you educate people on different things, mostly around Ethereum or DVT, you can also like participate. So you join, you need to apply, you'll be interviewed and some other processes too. And there are some opportunities that comes around. There are some opportunities too that are available if you are part of the staking masters. And so the idea is for you to get support so you can continue your research, your development if you're working on any tools, or continued education if you're educating any community. So basically um that around the staking masters program. And also there are other things too. So Obol is also collaborating with other partners too. So if you so there are some opportunities too for you. When you stake, you also earn reward. And we all know like security, helping decentralization and other things are common benefits that comes around this. So but yeah, basically you can also earn reward when you participate, especially when you're doing things with other communities or partners with Obol. And there's also the retroactive funds where I think about 1% or so goes to, so they usually allocate 1% of the rewards that you're getting when you're running a DVT or when you're contributing. So like that's like something they do and they use it for support, um to support different ecosystem or communities or builders around the Ethereum ecosystem. So just like I said, you can stake and earn reward. You can also receive incentives. This is common, and you can engage in the community. You can contribute, go to their Discord, do one or two things. When they are always seeing you being active, it's possible. I'm not guaranteeing that this is something that will happen, but most likely your contribution to would also help them to like once you're contributing basically, so there's a tendency for you to be rewarded. So and the communities they recognize contributions and they also help you through through the retroactive funds based on what you're doing, how you're contributing, certain token can be allocated to you. So basically that's just the idea around it. And it's actually a thriving ecosystem, and you can just begin by so most of a lot of other things too that comes from Obol is if you have the technique credential. So if you have like the base, so base is maybe you're running testnet, you're able to like run a testnet, um run run a DV using testnet token. So you have like the base technique credential. So you can use that as so once you have the idea is just show that you are proficient in running DVT or distributed validator. So once you have that, other opportunities also comes. So you can become a staking master. You can receive reward from their partners, uh, and a couple of others. So the idea is if you have the technical credentials, it opens a lot of doors around more opportunities for you where you can start earning rewards or getting incentivized. So the overall collective actually builds a secure, decentralized, and community-driven staking network. So whether you're a beginner or you're an expert or you're a leader, you own a community or you're just trying to like understand how these things work, or perhaps you run your own validator node, you can also apply or show contribute and then receive like start earning or getting rewards. So basically that's these are like some of the um, important opportunities or some of the protocols that you should look out for around Ethereum staking that can help you to that would open your eye to a lot of things. And I think we also be having another session maybe next week or subsequent week to where we'll talk about like in more details some of these things. We'll share like within the Web3 ecosystem in general. We are going to like share the opportunities around that. So it will also help you to prepare yourself on how you can maximize these opportunities as they come. So basically, the that these are like the things I wanted to share. If you have any questions, you can ask, and if I can't answer them, I will try to like get the answers eventually and share them with us. So, Manuel, over to you.
GM, hello.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I don't know if it is question or maybe I'm just entangled looking for some clarifications. We went through some exploration on Rocket Pool and Obo, right? Then I want to ask, in Rocket Pool, do we have sports taking like in Obo?
Okay, if there is squad staking, I'm not aware. Like, okay, the squad staking you're talking about is maybe where two or three persons can come and then maybe run a DV, or is it in terms of pulling funds, like where you have like four, okay, maybe four persons come together, contribute their ETH to make up the 32 ETH requirements. Is it like something of that nature?
Okay, no, as in, I mean about the spot taking, just like in Obo. We are, is it like a distributed something,
Okay.
distributed validator, something like that?
No, no. Yeah, they are not the same. Obol is using DVT.
Okay, Rocket Pool is just like another protocol, just like a third party where you can stake because you don't have the threshold to solo stake.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right. Emmanuel.
You're done with the session, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So sorry, what's the question again?
So
Okay.
somebody asked, fire on Harrison here.
Oh, okay. So there's been some questions around the hardware requirements, the cost, and also like the cost. So so someone was asking how much it's like what's like the cost of setting it up and like what are like the requirements for it for setting up a node.
Okay. Okay, so quickly, first thing, requirement will be you have to have 24 hours power supply. That's first. Then you have to have 24 hours internet connectivity, at least 10 to 20 Mbps per second. At least that's the minimum, right? So first, if you have these two things, then the next thing is for you now to get the machine. And then I think as you have heard from your instructors, these machines are really like, they are not rocket science. The first thing to understand is these are just consumers PC that you can also use like a consumer type computer that also works. So you can also get a DApp node. You could go to dappnode.com to get like something that has been customized, like that has like a software in also a node management software with it. You can also buy that. But all of those are quite expensive. Not like they are quite expensive. So you can decide to build it yourself. So I believe as you guys have been taking this training, you spoke about like the machine requirements, right? The minimum machine requirement is like 16 gig RAM, like a 16 gig RAM, a 2 terabyte SSD. Even though some clients now have reduced the minimum, but we could still go with that data. So 2 terabyte SSD NVMe. From anything from 4 cores of CPU and above is good. Yeah, I think these are the main capacity of the machine. So we have been putting together some custom made machines for some persons. The last one we did for someone was about as 2 terabytes, 16 gig RAM, 6 cores of CPUs. So that's like I think $300 to $400. Yeah, so $300 to $400. That's I think that was the cost for that. So yeah, so for someone who is getting that, you could budget around $300 to $400 for that kind of PC. Yeah, obviously knowing that you need to have your power and also your internet connectivity. I hope that was clear.
Okay. Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, it was clear. I wasn't the person that asked the question, but I queued into the question when it was asked in the group. So I want to have some clarification on that also. The couple PC or the couple hardware that is in the range of $300 to $400. If we have that, we still need a monitor, right?
So you need a monitor to set it up, right? So what we do when if you are you can we also help you to if you want to get these things yourself. I think we have a documentation that also could help you to like buy these parts because we also encourage that. If you want us to get it for you to set things up, that's fine. But if you also want to set things yourself, we also have like a documentation that gives you guide on buying the components yourself and then coupling it all together. We encourage a lot of people also to like go that route so as they can learn as they do it. So yeah, you need a monitor when you buy this to kind of set your SSH up, right? You need a monitor. So, but once you are done setting the machine up, like once you're done setting the machine up, you can actually access the machine through SSH. I think in one of your class, KC Pele showed you one of his machine, one of the machines that is with in his custody right now that he SSH into it. So he didn't so there was no monitor on that machine. He was only accessing it through SSH, right? So that's also something you need to do. But at the first instance, when you get the machine, you can actually you will need a screen to kind of SSH into it, right? Yeah. So that's that's one thing you just need to know. Hope that was clear.
Okay. It was clear. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, guys. I think that's all from my end. If there is no any other question,
Okay, can you hear me now?
I think you have like some background noise also.
Oh, okay, sir. But am I audible now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I was asking, you talked about the documentation that you normally share with people. So I'm asking, will it be made available for us? is very
The
relevant to that
documentation.
request on how to build that machine.
You mean the documentation?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Harrison, I think that guide is on that documentation we have, right? Harrison, that guide on setting up the machine in the documentation, our documentation.
Yeah, it has like the hardware requirements, but
Okay.
it has the hardware
Okay.
requirement. But I don't think it doesn't have like where you need to get those requirements. I think that's
Okay.
like
So okay, we'll work on that. But yeah, so there's another documentation somewhere. I think from Ita Staker community. Probably I'll look out for that documentation and I'll paste it in the Telegram group. So yeah, there are a lot of resources out there that also help like guide you to setting up your own. So yeah, I will also look out for one of those resources and share in the group.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other question, please? Okay, no question. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
all right, Emmanuel, over to you.
So yeah, thank you very much. Have a lovely one, guys.